Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pettit's Market Evan Monroe Show, where we cover everything on the range with the West Greene Buffaloes. As always, I'm joined here with Buffaloes head coach Evan Monroe. Coach, how are you doing this evening?
Doing good.
It's towards the end of the week. It's Thursday. You got a good week of I'm assuming you got a good week of practicing after getting a win on Friday night over Cumberland Gap. How's the week been?
It's been a pretty good week. You know, we've been focused. We know we still got a lot of work to do to get to where we want to be, but you know we're chugging away at it and making progress.
Speaking about the win over Cumberland Gap, huge victory on Friday night. Got another regional win,
Yes.
A must-needed win, as you talked about, in a
Yes.
do-or-die game where a lot of playoff implications were on the line for both teams. You ended up coming out on the winning side, 371 total rushing yards. You
Yep.
got pancakes for the whole team afterwards. Talk about how good that felt.
You know, we knew coming in that we could kind of lean on them. We knew they were young. We knew we could run right at them and they would have a hard time stopping it. So that was the game plan going in, just run right at them, make them like it. You know, I think Ian had a fantastic night. He had, I think, 7 carries and 3 touchdowns.
168 yards. I don't know what
168 yards.
average of that is, but that's pretty darn good.
I think it averages out to over 25. I think it's 24 or 25 yards a carry.
Close. You're right.
You know, anytime you touch the ball and you're getting that kind of yardage, it's a good time.
Absolutely.
You know, you get excited for kids to have some success running the ball, and you know he's a kid that he works hard. He's strong as an ox, and so for him to finally have a game where he just goes off is great for us.
And I mean, he wasn't the only one that went off either. 371 yards, and he has 168. You had 203 yards from the rest of your team.
Yeah.
Wyatt had a great night also, 6 rushes, 89 yards and a touchdown. Dawson did well on his feet. He only had 2 runs, but they went 75 yards with a touchdown.
Yeah.
He was very efficient. And then even more efficient was Austin Franklin. He had 1 rush, 40 yards, found the end zone with a touchdown. Talk about what you were able to see on your defense and how you were able to find the holes and have such a successful night in the running game.
You know, when Dawson he had carried his fake out all night, and I didn't even realize he had faked it or had pulled it. I'm watching Doc run, and the kid hits him, and he looks like this, and the kid like, I ain't got the ball. The next thing I know, I look across the field, and Dawson is by himself, just sprinting down the sideline. I'm like, oh, he's got the ball.
So something you would see Cumberland Gap usually run, you were running, where they were confusing you. West Greene was confusing their own coach instead of Cumberland Gap confusing the other coaches.
Doesn't happen often. Can't pull one over on me often, but he pulled one over on me, you know, because, you know, I was listening to Han call the play, and I watched, and I was like, then I saw Doc didn't have it. I was like, he must have pulled it. Next thing I know, I see him sprint down the side. I'm like, oh, he's going to score. And, you know, you have 2 carries, 75 yards. It's not a bad night rushing.
I could do that math. That's 37 and a half.
That ain't a bad night rushing. You know, Franklin, on the other hand, he was a little beat up coming into the game. His hamstring had given him some fits. You know, the last game he had cramped up really hard and kind of hyperextended his knee a little. So he was kind of like, game time decision. So we kind of was like, all right, we'll just play him on offense. They're a run-heavy team. Don't need him on the secondary, really. We'll kind of play him offensive sparingly, kind of keep him on a snap count. He got his 1 touch, 40 yards to the house, and we're just like, okay, you're good, you know. So, you know, those credit to the big guys up front. They blocked well all night long, and so you rush for over 350, you're blocking somebody, even if it maybe not always the right guy. You're at least getting a body on somebody.
Because you can't rush for 350 without a good O-line.
No.
There's no way around it.
No, you can't go impose your will and run for that much without doing something up front. So, you know, I was proud of those big guys up front. They were young, but they play with a little want to. And, you know, we start 3 sophomores on the offensive line. They're young, still learning how to play offensive line at a high level. But, you know, they're coming along, doing a good job for us. So,
as impressive of a night as it is, I mentioned it Saturday morning, and Mark Greenlee or Adrian Sauceman, one of the two, you would probably have to ask to figure this out. Is 371 yards the record for most rushing yards in a game for West Greene? Do you anticipate it somewhere up high on that list, though?
It's probably top 5. I know there was a few years that I was up here. Dalton Bowles probably had a couple of those games where he had 250 and we probably rushed for 300 plus. I don't know about Julian Lane when he was here, if how many games he had where he might have had.
Julian was kind of everywhere, though.
Yeah,
he was one of those where
if you count all-purpose yards, he probably
all-purpose probably, but yeah,
just straight rushing. I don't know. That might be way up there. I'd have to go look at the stats and see.
Just strictly rushing yards, it's got to be up there somewhere.
Yeah,
it might not be the top spot, but it's got to be top 5.
Yeah, I'm sure it's close. And Dawson had a good night passing. He was 3 of 4, 62 yards, touchdown. Didn't have to throw the ball when you turn around, hand it to Ian, and he's off to the races. I mean, you give a kid 7 carries and he scores on 3 of them. That's a lot of want to.
When you get nearly 450 yards of total offense, too, that's a great night. Everybody can be happy.
Yes.
The linemen, the receivers, the quarterback, the defense.
Yeah.
Because their job gets a little easier when your offense is scoring every single time down the field.
Yeah. And Gap kind of – their scores were on our second guys. And, it is what it is. We was trying to keep them on a shutout for the varsity and then –
Trying to get pizza,
and then you rotate those young guys in and, they gash you with a trap here, dive here. Those young secondary freshman guys miss a tackle. They score. It is what it is. I know he's got to get better, but, we started rolling our young guys in when we get the running clock, and, they scored on our young guys all three times. And so varsity's pitches a shutout, I'm not mad at it.
I mean, you can't ever be mad at your varsity pitching a shutout, especially in an important regional game like it was. And that was going to lead into my next question. How important was it to gain that upper edge over Gap in the regional standings now that you put them at the bottom and now you put yourself in a tie for 4th place with Eagleton?
It's great for us. And I've told the boys we control our destiny. We win Friday night, we're in the driver's seat for a home playoff game. We could still host a playoff game. And, that's something I've preached, boys. We're not out of our goals yet. I know we slipped up at Eagleton, didn't have the game we wanted. I know we didn't get South Greene. But we still got a shot to go meet our goals. And so, I'm excited for tomorrow night. I think we'll come out, we'll play hard, we'll give them everything we got. And, if we play to the best of our ability, I think we can go get one.
You heard me say it Saturday. You'll see it in the preview article, and I'll say it right here. You get the win over Gap, but it doesn't get any easier now.
No.
Because now you go into Carter County, you play Hampton, one of the top teams in 2A, and currently the top team within the region. How big would it be to get a win in Hampton? You'll find out later. We got to take a break first, so we'll go ahead and take a commercial break and be right back in just a second to talk about that game here on Grassroots Media.
Remember those days when life was simpler and every corner held a treasure just waiting to be discovered? Pettit's Market was a place where memories were made and where stories were woven. Here you'll find more than just goods. You'll find a piece of the past wrapped in the embrace of today. Pettit's Market is where neighbors become friends, friends become family, and good food and love holds everything together. So step inside, make memories, eat good, and leave happy. Pettit's Market, the little store with a big welcome.
Tommy's Plumbing has provided professional plumbing services to the residents of Greenville, Tennessee for over 30 years. Our experience and reputation have helped us grow our business to add locations in Jonesboro, Tennessee. Tommy's Plumbing is local and family owned, and we offer a full line of plumbing services, such as kitchen faucet, shower faucets, commodes, and bathroom faucets, as well as drain cleaning. We also provide outside plumbing work, such as septic and sewer drain cleanouts, as well as repair and replace. Tommy's Plumbing pretty much does it all. Tommy's Plumbing is licensed, bonded, and insured. Our quality workmanship and passion to provide our clients with expert service is second to none. We guarantee we have the best warranty around. For all your plumbing needs, give Tommy's a call at 638 3662.
Welcome back to Grassroots Media. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pettit's Market Evan Monroe Show, where we cover everything on the range with the West Greene Buffaloes. As always, I'm here with Buffaloes head coach Evan Monroe. So we mentioned it at the end of the first half. Got Hampton this week.
Yeah.
Doesn't get any easier. You're traveling into Carter County to play them too, which is also a tough task.
Yeah.
What do you expect when you go to play Hampton on Friday night?
Tough physical football. They're a team that has a culture that has been set for years of the expectation is you win. Mm-hmm. That is just the expectation at Hampton. It was a couple years ago they were in the state finals, state championship. They're a good football team. Number 12 is a kid that's a stud. I think I seen where he broke Hampton's rushing record. I think it was last week. So he's a kid that's a good athlete. They're big up front. They're physical. It's a game that, I think if we can play sound defense, keep contained, don't let 12 run wild, I think we've got to give ourselves a chance at it. But that's the big task right there is stopping 12. He's their by far best athlete.
Hampton is not technically ranked. They're the first team outside of the top 10. With the points, they would be ranked 11th. But for this question's sake, we're going to go ahead and say they're ranked 11th. You're no stranger to going into Carter County and knocking off ranked teams. You did it once this year with Cloudland. Yeah. Walked into Cloudland in week 2 and knocked off the number 8 team in Class 1A. What are you going to have to do this time, and what did you learn in that game that you think will help you going into Hampton?
I think Hampton and Cloudland are very, very similar. Old school smash mouth football. I think Hampton's just got a few more athletes than Cloudland does. It's a bigger school, like you'd expect that. And so I think going into Hampton, we have to play good sound defense. That's just what it boils down to. I think we got to win the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football. I fully expect them to want to run the ball. That's been their identity all year long. They can pass. They run a little bit of everything. They unbalance. They'll go 3-by-1, 2-by-2 with their receivers. They'll spread it out, try to dink and dunk you. They went empty a couple times. They'll go empty, and then the next play they'll come back and they'll be in the true power I with an extra fullback and nobody out wide.
Yeah.
And so just being able to know what our checks and things are out of that is a priority for us this week.
What do you expect them to throw at you on defense?
The house.
Understandable.
You watch. They're sending at least 2 backers every play. They've got 4 pretty good defensive linemen, and then they run like a split 4, cover 3. And they're bringing 2 backers at least every time. They're bringing 5, 6, 7. There's one play they brought 8. They brought all 8 and sent the house, and you're like, good grief. So they're very aggressive on defense. But if we just block our assignment, sometimes you can take a defensive tackle and block him into a blitzing linebacker, and then you've blocked 2 guys with 1. So I've challenged our guys up front this week to say, hey, we got to be nasty this week and go block somebody.
How much urgency is there heading into this matchup also? Because we talked about the urgency last week with it being a must-win situation, and it's sort of the same this week. And we talked about it right before going into the break, how huge it would be to knock off Hampton with them sitting atop the standings at 3-0 and you being tied for 4th with a team that already has a win on you.
Yeah.
How much urgency is there going into this contest, and how monumental of a victory would that be for West Greene?
Oh, it's huge. Anytime you can get a region win, it's big. Especially against a team that's undefeated in the region. We can end up, if we win our last 2 region games, we're sitting at 3-2 in the region. South Greene goes and beats Hampton. They're at 3-2. We take the tiebreaker. We host a playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things. We got to have a little help to host a playoff game, but we can still do it. But to make the playoffs, we just got to win. And so for the boys, I've said we got to go win this one. This was huge. It's not a must win, but it's pretty darn near close. If we drop this one but beat Happy Valley last game of the season, we got to have a little help to get to the playoffs. I don't ever like to have help from somebody else. I always want to control my own destiny. I don't want to have to rely on somebody else to do something for me.
It's more comfortable if you can go ahead and get it done yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to be sitting there waiting on Friday night saying, did so-and-so win? Are we in or are we not? Are we in or are we not? I'd rather just take care of business and be like, hey, we're in. Now who are we playing?
Yep.
Anytime you can get to the playoffs, it's a good time. But this is a game we got to win. It's a game we have to win. It'd be nice to go in and knock off Hampton as pretty much a state-ranked team. And they're a tough physical team, and it'd be great to just go in and get a win. I'd love nothing more than come back Friday night with a win.
I mean, we said it enough in the first half, and I think anybody that's seen this already knows. You had a lot of success in the running game last Friday night. What are you going to do to try to maintain that same success that you had Friday night?
We're going air raid Friday night.
Right.
We're 5 wide, empty, spreading it out, throwing it all over the field. No, we just keep running what we run. I think we can hurt them off play action because they're a very aggressive defense. They bring the house, and if they bite on that run fake and you can dump one out to the flats, you can give them fits with it. Eagleton gave them fits on throwing the ball a little bit. They also ran the ball. Gap scored on them a couple times running the ball. So, it's one of those things. We can go move the ball on them. I got faith in our offensive line to go in, take care of business, and get some movement up front and go win the line of scrimmage.
As always, end of every interview, too, you've got 3 keys that you need to carry out in order to get a win. What are they this week?
First one, we got to have nasty up front. We got to go win the line of scrimmage, go take care of business, play with effort and want to up front. If we can just punish them up front and just drive them and dump them, and that takes away some of that aggressiveness. I think if we can win the turnover battle, if we can go out and force a couple fumbles, force it when they do throw it, force a pick, come in, give them fits, win that field position battle. A fumble could be huge, if we can win that turnover battle, that'd be great for us. And then, as always, score more points than the other team.
There we go.
You thought I'd forgot, didn't you?
Nope.
Okay.
I knew you'd stick true to it.
Hey, I got to stick to that one. But the last one, if just playing with effort, just go out and play your butts off. And that's all I can ask from the guys is go out, play to the best of your ability, as hard as you can, every single play. And, I like our chances to win.
A lot of people are probably wondering what this has been in front of us. We like to joke that it's a play call sheet. It's a Waffle House menu.
It is.
Well, in the interview with this, if you go to Waffle House, what is your go-to order?
Texas bacon, egg, and cheese melt, double hash brown covered, and a sweet tea.
So you know it down to a T.
Oh,
there goes my notes.
You
know it down to a T.
Down to a T. It's down to a science.
I like the Texas bacon cheesesteak melt plate. You can't go wrong with that.
That's not bad. It's hard to beat an All-Star Special, too. I know that's Han's go-to with an extra waffle.
A lot of people love the All-Star Specials, and you're right. You can't go wrong with that. Do you throw anything on your hash browns, ketchup, anything?
Nah, just cover them with some cheese, and we're good to roll.
Just cheese?
Just cheese.
You put hot sauce on them?
Not a big hot sauce guy.
Not a big hot sauce guy? Hot sauce guy? Hot sauce guy. Okay, we got a few in here.
We got a few
players like the hot sauce guy.
Yeah, we got.
You've kind of grown an audience as the weeks have gone on now.
Hey,
nobody sees them because they're behind the camera, but you grow an audience. It seems like different players every week.
Hey, 2 or 3. By the last game, we're gonna have like half the team in here.
We'll go do it in the auditorium in the school.
The little theater downstairs.
Yes. We'll do it in the little theater. Coach, I think that's all I got this week. You got Hampton this Friday night. Tall task ahead of you, but carry out your keys to success. You never know what could happen. You can come back down with a win.
Love to.
As always, appreciate you for sitting down with me once again.
No problem.
Always a pleasure to come down here on the range. Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Pettit's Market Evan Monroe Show. Look forward to seeing you next time here on Grassroots Media.
Go Buffs.